Wyatt Boetsma here from the Deering team at RE/MAX. I have a very special opportunity today. We are out here highlighting the Fishing with Veterans event happening this year, July 13th, here at beautiful Yacht Basin Marina. The sun is out and we have a great day to sit down and talk with some of the veterans that have participated in the event. So today I'm sitting here with Stephen Scott, World War II Navy veteran. And Stephen, it's an absolute privilege to meet you and be out here and chat with you. And I wanted to thank you for your service.
No,
so,
you're very welcome, yep.
So tell me a little bit, before we get into your time in the military, tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do or what you did for work, and some of your hobbies, that sort of thing.
I did several different things. I went to college for a teacher. And I taught for 1 year and that was it.
Okay.
I didn't like it. And so then I went to work for International Harvester Company. Oh, then I thought, oh, well, I had accounting classes in college, so I thought, well, I'll be an accountant. So I went to Baker Furniture and I got a job there as a cost accountant.
Very nice. Okay.
And I stayed there for a while. And then I went to Whitcomb and stayed there till they closed.
Okay. Okay. A man of many talents.
Yeah.
So.
Well, while I was at Whitcomb, I was leasing them a truck because they had trouble with the common carrier hauling the furniture. And so when they shut the doors, I had a truck. I had nothing to do.
Sure.
So
yeah.
I started hauling for Herman Miller and Steelcase.
Very nice. Okay. Okay.
And
yeah.
62, I retired, and that was it.
Very nice. Yeah.
Bought a trailer and spent the time in Florida.
There you go. There you go. So you can safely say you've pretty much done it all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's back up and talk a little bit about your time in the service. Now, what motivated you to join up and specifically the Navy?
Well, everybody else was going in. They were being drafted. And I was younger because I graduated high school with all my credits when I was 16 only.
Okay.
And so my uncle, he was a long-time Navy man, 30-some years. And he said they're coming out with a new program. He said they're going to high schools and they're trying to get the young kids to come in and they would go into the Navy Air Corps.
Okay.
And so he said, well, if it comes around there, take a test. Well, it came around there in the fall and I took the test. And in January, I retired. I was graduated because I had all my credits.
Yeah.
I didn't go through graduation, but I had all my credits.
Okay.
And so then I thought, oh, well, let's see what I can do. Well, they realized that the Navy realized that I had graduated, that I had my credits all in. So they called me, well, why don't you come in?
Yeah, yeah.
So I came in, well, join up.
Yep, it's time to serve.
So I did.
Yeah.
And I was in school in Norman, Oklahoma in about May, and they called me in the office and they wanted to know how old I was.
Yeah, right.
And I told them my birthday. You're not 17.
So there was a bit
oh, you're going to send me home? Oh, no.
So there wasn't any hesitation.
No,
you were
no,
going home.
they kept me,
okay.
never questioned it after
Okay,
that.
yeah. So where did you receive your basic training?
Our boot camp was in Jacksonville, Florida, 6 weeks.
Okay.
And so all we did is a little bit of marching, mainly tests.
Okay.
Then we went to school in Norman, Oklahoma, left there, and then went to Jacksonville, Florida, back to Jacksonville, Florida, for gunnery school and flight training. Our flight basically was flying out there over the ocean. Then towards the end, we were flying down to the canal zone on sub patrol because the Germans still had subs there.
Yep.
And because the canal zone was the main hub for ships going east and west.
Okay.
And so we flew down there on sub patrol.
Okay.
And at that time we weren't seeing any subs, German subs. And so then after that was finished, then back to Jacksonville and then to San Diego and then overseas.
Okay.
And
Now,
all that time, I never had an official Navy leave yet.
okay.
And I never got that until after the war was over.
Yeah, so they didn't even give you a break.
No,
they were
they
working
didn't
you.
give any of us
okay.
a break.
Okay.
No.
Now, had you ever flown a plane or dreamt
No.
of flying a plane?
No, I didn't fly. I was just a crewman.
Okay.
I was just a crewman.
Okay. Gotcha.
And And so, you know, I was a plane captain. I was in charge. That aircraft, the PBY, the way it was set up, the pilots did not have any control of the heat of the engines, the fuel, the mixture of the engines,
Okay.
which tanks the fuel was coming from, or anything like that. That was all the engineers' responsibility.
Okay.
And I was a engineer, flight engineer.
Okay. Now, where were you first deployed once you got
Well,
done?
we got out there. We went to Peleliu.
Okay.
And from Peleliu, that's where we did our patrols and things. And then
In the South Pacific.
in the South, all
Okay.
in the South Pacific. Yeah,
Okay.
Peleliu's in the South Pacific. Yeah, I think, if I remember right, I think it's in the Marshalls.
Okay.
Marshall Islands.
Gotcha.
And then, well, one time we did get in a little trouble. We did get shot up a little bit and had to find a little island to set on. There were no Japs on the island.
Right.
So
Right.
a week later they found us, and they brought us back to our base, and then they flew a couple of us back to the States. Well, I had hit my head, so they were worried about a concussion
Sure.
and things, and so they flew back to the States, to Bremerton, Washington,
Okay.
and I stayed there for a short period of time because I wasn't really, I didn't think I was hurt that bad.
Yeah.
When you see some of the other fellows in the Naval hospitals, man, the worst of the ones, there were fellows that were burnt bad from burning oil in water.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a place that, boy, you wanted to get out of if
Yeah.
you possibly
Oh, yeah.
could.
Absolutely.
Because it was horrendous.
Absolutely.
And so I wanted to get back, and I kept yelling about it. I wanted to get back to my squadron and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, we'd go down, we'd sneak down in the dumbwaiter to steal food
Okay.
out of the galley and have a party
Yep.
in the middle of the night. And the last time I went down, I was smaller than some of the guys, so I could fit in this dumbwaiter.
Yeah.
And so I came back up again, and there was the commander of the hospital looking me in the face, and stern look in her face, and her answer was, "You're going to get your wish."
You're going to go back out there. Now, being overseas on the Pacific front, were you aware that, I mean, obviously, you were aware that there was, you know, a war going on in the other part of the world, but
Oh, yeah,
were you up to speed kind of on how that was progressing, or were you kind of just fighting your own battle?
Not too much.
Okay.
We didn't know that. We knew a little bit. We knew when the war ended there in Europe.
Okay.
And things like this. But
Yeah.
we didn't know that the war ended until we came back in one time. And of course there was radio silence, you know, during the war. And we came back in, and a bunch of guys from our squadron grabbed us and threw us in the shower and soaked us with all of our clothes. Hey, the war's over. We were shocked.
That's awesome.
Well, then they shipped us back to the States.
Okay. So after, I mean, knowing that VE Day had come and gone, were you kind of, was there like the sense of maybe impending dread a little bit? Because I'm sure you guys were kind of thinking, oh boy, we're going to have to invade Japan here at some point.
Yeah, well, that's what the plans were at that time. But then when they dropped the atom bomb, then hey, or two of them, then hey, we realized that hey, that was going to be the end of the war.
Oh,
Japan couldn't survive that.
Right.
And so that was just a matter of fact, you know.
Yeah.
And nobody looked ahead. Nobody tried to outguess anybody or anything like that. We just took everything as it comes, day by day.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your participation in this event. Like you've fished the Fishing with Veterans event before, correct?
Yes, I fished a fishing veteran. I'd say I can't remember now how many years, 4 or 5 years. I can't remember. Something like that. Yeah.
And you used to fish
I had my own. I had my own boat. I had a boat since 1957.
Very cool.
Although I didn't fish off that first boat because they didn't have the salmon planted.
Right.
It wasn't until after they had the salmon planted. And after the war, we were in the Navy. We were up in Alaska. They shipped us up. for 6 months at a time up in Alaska. And hey, we were getting these nice big salmon.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I came back down here, stinky little perch. I mean, good gosh, I mean, it wasn't enough to, barely enough to eat, you know.
Yeah,
and
right,
so
right.
I really didn't fish much. And, but after they started to put the salmon in, then I started fishing.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So tell me a little bit about your experience with this event. Are you for example, the boat parade coming back through the channel?
Yeah,
I mean, is it?
Yeah, that's really, I'd say, how would you call it? Remarkable.
Yeah.
That all the people that were out there on the dock,
Yeah.
on the piers, waving to us.
Absolutely.
Like as we came in. I mean, it was something that you know, a lot of people didn't even know about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And things.
Yeah.
Like, of course, it was going on, and I didn't really hear about it because I was out fishing.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you think this event? What are some of the positive impacts that it has on veterans?
Well, it brings a lot of the guys together and things like this, and we talk, and it's, well, some of them, a lot of them have never fished out there, and so it's an experience that they have that they wouldn't otherwise be able to have, because a lot of them, well, they couldn't afford a charter. Some of them.
Right.
Some of them could, but they don't have not the inclination. But then when they're talked into this, you know, hey, come on out there. Hey, try it. Well, once they do it, oh boy, next year they're right there again.
Yeah, they're hooked. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because they don't want to miss it.
It's a great time.
No.
Yeah. So I see that, I was told I had to ask you this. I see that you brought your walker with you today.
Yeah.
And I'm told that there are some extra accessories that sometimes come with the walker, as in like maybe some flames that.
Oh,
that
yeah,
make an
yeah.
appearance.
I got them on there. I live in Freedom Village, so in Freedom Village, I have those flames on there. But to throw them in the car, I don't want to bang them up. My son gave them to me for my birthday last June. And it was reminiscent of the cars that he had to drive. He and his sisters had to drive.
There you go.
Of Dodge Chargers and Challengers.
Yeah. With
383s and 440s. And, well, I think it was a blessing. None of them ever got in accidents or tickets.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Neighbor kids down the street, one of them, the two boys.
Different story.
One of them would lose his license.
Oh, boy.
All the time. Here they didn't.
No good.
So.
No good. All right.
No, that was a lot of fun, those.
Well, Stephen, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
You.
I appreciate it, and all of your, you know, all of the sacrifice. We appreciate you and your service, and many other veterans like you. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.